If you've come across this message before the 31st of July, understand that timing is rarely a matter of coincidence. In life, events unfold not always according to our plans, but often according to our readiness. When something appears in your path, be it a message, an opportunity, or a moment of stillness, it does so not because you are simply lucky, but because in some way, consciously or unconsciously, you were prepared to receive it. Timing, though often dismissed as chance, can be seen as the invisible current that moves beneath the surface of everyday life, guiding us toward lessons, experiences, and transformations when we are capable of embracing them. Many people overlook the significance of timing because they are focused on control. They wish to force life to adhere to their schedules and expectations. They chase results, chase success, chase certainty. But true understanding does not emerge from force. It emerges from flow. Just like a river does not force the rocks to move, but finds its own path around them, we must learn to flow with the current of time rather than resist it. Seeing this message before a specific date is not a signal to panic or rush, but a quiet invitation to reflect on where you are right now and why you are ready to see it at this moment. Ask yourself, why now? What is happening in your life that makes you pause and notice this specific message? Perhaps you are in a state of searching for meaning, for motivation, for clarity. Perhaps you've been questioning your direction, wondering whether your current path is aligned with your deeper self, or maybe life has been noisy lately, and for a brief second, something in you quieted down enough to hear a whisper through the chaos. When you are truly present, even the smallest signs feel like echoes of something greater. And when such a moment arises, it is not random, it is timely. Timing works in a mysterious way. Often it is not that the opportunity wasn't there before, it's that we weren't open enough to see it. Just like a flower does not bloom simply because the sun is shining, but because it is its season to bloom. We do not awaken to new truths just because they exist. We awaken when we are ripe for them. This ripeness comes from experiences, from struggles, from silent growth that occurs beneath the surface while no one is watching. No one will awaken from nowhere. No one will shine from nowhere. So when something stirs you inside, a word, a phrase, a feeling, it is because something has already begun to shift within you. Seeing this message is a reflection of that readiness. A mirror that does not show your face but shows your inner posture. Are you open or closed? Are you listening or merely hearing? Are you present or drifting? The moment has not come to you by accident. It has come because it matches your current state. And that is why it matters. Consider how often people walk through life with eyes that see but do not observe, with ears that hear but do not listen. It is easy to miss what's right in front of us when we are too busy reaching for what's far ahead. But when you slow down, even for a second, and allow yourself to notice, truly notice, you begin to recognize that life is always whispering. Not in loud declarations, but in small, sacred moments like this. This is not just about seeing a message, it is about recognizing what the timing of the message reveals about your inner world. It means you are entering, or have already entered, a phase of awareness where your perception is beginning to sharpen, where what used to pass you by now draws your attention. And that shift in awareness is powerful, because awareness is always the first step toward transformation. The fact that it's tied to a specific date, 31 July, is not about urgency in the traditional sense. It is not a deadline, but a doorway. It is a symbolic marker, a line drawn not in the sand, but in time. A moment that says, here, you can still choose. You can still act, shift, deepen, commit, release. Whatever it is that life has been nudging you toward, this message is a gentle confirmation that the nudge is real and that the time is now. Too often we ignore these quiet affirmations. We wait for something bigger, louder, more dramatic. But the most profound shifts in life do not announce themselves with fanfare. They begin in moments like this, in realizations that feel small, yet reverberate deep inside. So if you feel something stir within you after reading this, honor it. You don't need to explain it. You don't need to understand it fully. Just trust that the timing was not random. Trust that it arrived now for a reason. There is great peace in accepting that we do not have to chase moments of clarity. They come when we are ready. There is great strength in recognizing that readiness often hides behind resistance. And there is great freedom in knowing that you are exactly where you need to be in order to receive the next step. Life, after all, is not something we figure out. It is something we learn to feel. So pause. Breathe. Let the message sink in. Let the timing of it mean something to you, not because someone else said it should, but because something in you knows that it does. You've arrived here now, not earlier, not later, and that is the only timing that ever truly matters. To recognize a sign is to already be awake. In a world that moves so fast, where distractions are constant and attention is scattered, simply noticing something meaningful is a quiet act of awareness. It means that even if your life is busy or uncertain, even if your mind has been clouded by worries, there is still a part of you that is present enough to see. That alone is a powerful thing. Many people move through life in a kind of sleep. Not the kind where the eyes are closed, but the kind where the heart is numb and the mind is on autopilot. They wake up, go to work, scroll through their phones, speak without depth, listen without hearing, and repeat the same patterns day after day. In this state, even when something beautiful or meaningful crosses their path, they don't register it. The message is there, but the receiver is off. The light is shining, but the window is closed. So when a person pauses and truly sees something, a moment, a word, a realization, it means their window has opened, if only a little. That opening is the beginning of awakening. Awareness is not about knowing everything. It is not about having all the answers or mastering some secret knowledge. True awareness begins with presence, the ability to be here, now, without needing to escape. It is the subtle but radical shift from reacting to observing. When you recognize a sign, it means that a part of you has stepped out of the noise and into stillness, even for a second. It means your inner eye is beginning to open. Think of how many signs you've likely passed before without noticing. They could have been conversations, symbols, dreams, or patterns repeating themselves in your life. Most of us only realize their meaning in hindsight when we look back and say, now I understand. But sometimes you catch it in real time. You see the message as it appears. That's not just a coincidence. That's a sign of internal alignment. Your outer perception is matching your inner readiness. Seeing something like this message before a certain date isn't just about timing. It's about tuning. Like a radio station that suddenly comes into clarity, your awareness has tuned itself to receive a signal you may not have noticed before. And that tuning is not always easy. It often follows discomfort, confusion, or the unraveling of old ways of thinking. In fact, many people only start to truly see after something in their life breaks down. The ego softens, the defenses crack, and light gets in. It's through that process that you become more receptive, not just to pain, but to wisdom. It's important to know that awareness is not an endpoint. It's a beginning. Just recognizing a sign is the first of many steps, but it is also the most crucial one, because without it, the path remains invisible. You can only walk a road you can see. So if something within you feels awake enough to notice this moment, to pause, to reflect, to ask why this matters, then that is the moment where sleep ends and growth begins. There are many ways this awakening can happen. Sometimes it's gentle, like the slow rising of the sun. Sometimes it's sudden, like thunder in a silent sky. But no matter how it happens, the common thread is the same. A shift from unconscious repetition to conscious observation, from being pulled by life to beginning to move through it with intention. And the beauty is, Once this shift begins, you can't go fully back to sleep. You may forget, you may drift, but the seed has been planted. The eyes of your soul have opened, and even if you close them again, you will remember what it feels like to see. It is easy to dismiss small signs. A sentence, a feeling, a moment of stillness. They don't always carry obvious meaning, but the more awake you are, the more clearly you realize that life speaks in whispers, not shouts. And those whispers are everywhere, waiting for you to hear. So the fact that you have paused here and now, that you're even reflecting on what this might mean, tells a quiet but profound truth. You are not asleep. From this place of awareness, everything becomes possible. Not in a loud, dramatic way, but in a quiet unfolding. The decisions you make become more aligned. The way you speak becomes more thoughtful. You start noticing things you used to ignore. Your breath, your habits, your inner voice. Life slows down enough for you to actually feel it. And in that stillness, signs become easier to recognize. Now, messages become clearer. The path forward begins to take shape. Not fully lit, but no longer invisible. So congratulations, not because you finished something, but because you've begun. You've woken up just enough to see that there's more. And that is no small thing. That is the beginning of transformation. Not everyone notices, not everyone feels, but you did. You do. That awareness, no matter how small it feels, is sacred. Nurture it, listen to it, let it grow. Because the moment you recognize a sign, you are no longer walking through life asleep. You are watching. You are listening. You are awake. Action aligns with intention. This is a truth that resonates deeply, yet it is often misunderstood or neglected in the hustle of daily life. We live in a world that prizes action, that pushes for productivity and encourages constant doing. However, action without intention is like a ship sailing without a compass. It moves, but without direction. Intentions, on the other hand, are the unseen forces that guide us, shaping our choices and our actions in ways that make them meaningful. To truly align action with intention is to move through life with purpose, to act, not just for the sake of action, but because each step, each choice, carries with it a deeper sense of clarity and focus. Often, people rush to act. The world encourages us to do something, anything, to show that we are progressing. There is this constant pressure to keep moving and to make things happen, as if action itself is the mark of success. But this can lead to burnout, frustration, and a feeling of emptiness, as the actions we take may not be truly aligned with what we want or need. They are merely actions for the sake of movement. You can be constantly busy and still feel as though you are not getting anywhere. Without clear intention behind those actions, you may find yourself simply running in circles. Intention, however, changes the entire dynamic. It provides the foundation upon which action can be built. When intention is present, it helps you focus, giving you the clarity to choose the right actions and to know why they matter. It gives you the strength to move with purpose, even when the path is unclear. Intentions are not grand declarations, nor are they rigid plans that dictate every move. They are subtle, but they anchor you in the direction you want to go. They help you see beyond the distractions of the moment and remain aligned with your core values and desires. When you act with intention, every step you take becomes imbued with meaning. Whether the action is large or small, it carries the weight of your inner knowing. It's like a musician who plays a piece of music, not just by reading the notes, but with feeling, with heart, and with purpose. Their hands move on the keys with a deeper connection to the music itself. In the same way, when you act with intention, every choice you make is deliberate, grounded, and authentic. In the pursuit of goals, whether personal, professional, or spiritual, action without intention can lead to misguided efforts. You might be running in the wrong direction, or putting your energy into things that don't truly matter to you. Often, we make decisions out of fear, habit, or external pressures, taking actions that feel like the right thing to do in the moment, but in retrospect may not align with our true desires or needs. When we act without aligning those actions to a deeper intention, we risk creating outcomes that are not fulfilling, no matter how much energy we put into them. For example, consider the way people often approach career or financial success. The desire to succeed is universal, but success can mean very different things to different people. For some, success might mean climbing the corporate ladder, while for others, it might be about creativity, flexibility, or making a meaningful contribution to society. Without a clear intention behind what success means to you personally, you may find yourself chasing someone else's dream. This could lead to exhaustion, dissatisfaction, and a sense of emptiness, even when you've achieved your goals. However, when you are clear about your intentions, what you value, what you want to create, and how you want to live, your actions take on new meaning. You begin to make decisions that serve your deeper purpose, not someone else's. Intentions are not static. They evolve as we grow and learn. It's important to reassess and refine your intentions regularly, ensuring that they still align with who you are becoming. Sometimes we set intentions based on where we are in the moment, but as we evolve, so too should our intentions. And that's the beauty of living intentionally. It's not a rigid set of rules, but a dynamic, living process that guides you toward fulfillment in a way that is true to your essence. The more you align your actions with your evolving intentions, the more deeply connected you become to yourself and to the world around you. The relationship between action and intention is not one of separation, it's one of harmony. Action without intention is like a leaf blowing in the wind, uncertain and uncontrolled, but intention without action is merely wishful thinking, an idea that remains unmanifested in the world. The two must work in tandem. Intentions provide the vision, the why, and the drive behind our actions, while action grounds those intentions, giving them form and substance in the world. Action grounds those intentions, giving them form and substance in the world. The beauty of intentional action is that it has a ripple effect. When you live with intention, you not only affect your own life, but you also influence the lives of others. People can sense when someone is acting from a place of purpose. There is an energy that comes with it, an authenticity that draws others in. This is why leaders who act with clear intention inspire their teams, why artists who create with passion move their audiences, and why individuals who live with purpose radiate a sense of fulfillment. When action is aligned with intention, it carries a depth that inspires and motivates. But it's important to note that intentional action is not always about achieving grand outcomes. Sometimes the most intentional actions are those that seem simple on the surface, like choosing to listen deeply to a friend, taking time to reflect on your day, or choosing to rest when your body is tired. These small actions, though simple, are deeply aligned with a sense of self-awareness and presence. They reflect a deep understanding that our lives are shaped not just by big decisions, but by the small, everyday choices we make. When you align your actions with your intentions, you begin to experience a flow, a synchronicity between your inner world and your outer reality. This flow doesn't mean everything will always be easy or without challenge, but it does mean that your actions will feel more purposeful. Your decisions will feel more aligned, and the effort you put into your goals will feel more fulfilling. It's as if life begins to move with you rather than against you. The path becomes clearer, and the steps become more meaningful. Ultimately, action aligned with intention is not just about achieving something externally. It's about creating a life that feels authentic, that reflects who you truly are and what you truly value. When your actions are driven by intention, your life becomes a reflection of your deepest desires, not just your obligations. It's the kind of life that feels alive, purposeful, and true. The door is open, step through. These words may sound simple, even poetic, but they carry a truth that many people overlook. Life is full of open doors, opportunities, decisions, changes, and moments of transformation that present themselves to us. But far too often we hesitate at the threshold. We stand before the doorway, sensing that it leads somewhere meaningful, yet we delay, we doubt, we overthink. The open door symbolizes possibility, but stepping through it requires more than awareness. It requires courage, trust, and a willingness to leave behind what is familiar. There comes a time in every person's life when the choice to remain the same feels heavier than the fear of change. That is the moment when an inner shift begins. You feel the nudge, a subtle pull, a quiet voice, a growing discomfort with staying where you are. And then, in front of you, something appears. A chance, a message, a realization. It may be small, barely noticeable to others, but to you, it feels significant. That's the open door. It doesn't always come wrapped in clarity. It may feel more like a question than an answer, but something in you recognizes it, not just with your mind, but with your inner knowing. The open door does not guarantee ease. In fact, stepping through it often leads into the unknown. It may take you away from comfort, predictability, and control, but it leads you toward authenticity, toward growth, toward the kind of life that aligns more fully with who you are becoming. The resistance you feel isn't necessarily a sign that the path is wrong. It may simply mean the step is real. Real steps often bring real fear, not the kind of fear that protects, but the kind that paralyzes. And that fear must be understood, not obeyed. Many people live just inches from the life they truly want, but they never step forward. They circle the doorway, they analyze it, talk about it, write plans for it, but they don't cross the threshold. Why? Because it's safer to dream than to decide. Safer to imagine what could be than to risk what is. The mind will create 1,000 reasons to delay. I'm not ready yet. I need more time. What if I fail? What if it doesn't work? These voices are not enemies. They are protectors. But protection can become limitation when it stops you from moving forward. The truth is, most doors don't stay open forever. Some are seasonal, some are fleeting, and some require you to step through them before you fully understand what lies beyond. That's why this moment matters. If you're seeing this now, before a symbolic date like July 31, it's not just a deadline. It's a reminder. A gentle knock. A signal that says, you still have time. You still have the chance. But time, while generous, is not infinite. The opportunity may return in another form later, but this one, the one in front of you now, will never appear exactly the same way again. That's what makes it precious. The doorway is not outside you, it is within. It could be the decision to let go of an old identity, a limiting belief, or a toxic habit. It might be the willingness to say yes to something that scares you, or no to something that drains you. It could be a conversation you've been avoiding, a project you've been dreaming about, or a step you've been afraid to take. The form of the door doesn't matter. What matters is that you've seen it, that you feel its presence. And now the question is, will you walk through? Stepping through the door doesn't require perfection. You don't need to have it all figured out. In fact, trying to perfect the plan before you act often keeps you frozen. The door does not demand that you know the whole path. It only asks that you take the first step. That step may feel small, even invisible to others, but it will be monumental for you. Because the moment you step, you shift the energy. You move from intention to embodiment, from possibility to action. And that single step begins to rewrite your story. What's on the other side of the door? You don't know. No one knows. That's the beauty and the challenge. But if you listen closely, you'll hear a deeper truth. The cost of not stepping is often greater than the risk of stepping. Staying stuck begins to hurt more than the fear of change. And when you realize that, you're already halfway through the threshold. There's a strange magic that happens when you commit to the unknown. Life meets you halfway. New energy flows in, unexpected support appears. You begin to feel momentum where there was once only hesitation. You're not alone in the process, even if the step feels solitary. Others have walked through their own doors, and their courage has paved the way. Now, it's your turn. Your path won't look